Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, we're on live. I was just testing out my mic, everybody. It is now working and it is true. So, as soon as you join in, let me know by putting in the number one that you could hear me and the number two that you are present in this chat somewhere, even if you're hidden from me. And you can press three if you don't hear anything. But I'm looking at the mic bounce all over the place, so I know I'm on live. Today's topic, well, first of all, before I jump into that, today's date is Thursday, April the 25th, 2024. This must be podcast maybe 160 by now. I haven't been keeping track anymore because I've done a lot. And once a week, and most of the time, almost on every week. That's a lot of podcasting, live podcasting. And so I'm Brother Francis E. Revels-Bey. I'm a spiritual counselor. I've been one for over 40 plus years. I enjoy helping people such as yourself gain greater clarity in your life and to discover your purpose. Now, many of us say, well, I already know what my purpose is. Well, your purpose changes as you change. When your awareness shifts about yourself, your purpose changes. It has to change because we're always in motion. And today's podcast here is Clear Blue Radiance. This is my mini channel on the Resonant Essentials platform for YouTube. Now, the topic is, what time is it? And I go on to say, now it's your time to move your consciousness. It's your time to shift that consciousness to a higher consciousness. And we're doing this moment to moment. And this is essential to our well being. We are consciously doing this all the time. And what you have to begin to remember is that you are not bound. So I'm going to put the title in here so that we have it recorded in here for everybody when they come in. And again, I'll put it in big caps. What is time? With a question mark. And then I'm going to say, if I can see with my glasses here, it is your time. That's the answer. What time? What is time? It is your time. That's important for you to know. What time? Well, I have what is time, but is what time is it? Okay. So let me correct that. The title is What Time Is It? It is your time. You have to know that. And I'm going to explain to you something about this concept of time. It's important for us to understand this. I think Mercury is about to go direct soon, so I don't have to, or none of us has to feel that we're just floating around in a circle. And as I say, it is your time. It's important for you to know that concept. It is your time. And why would we say it is your time? We've heard our ancestors say time is of the essence. So, what is essential? What time is it? We have to put it down in lower caps here because it's not coming through. It is your time. Your time to do what is the question? Well, it is your time to shift in this moment. So now is the time comma, the moment to shift your consciousness. Now, I could have said awareness, but I want you to know it's consciousness that's being shifted. We have to shift our consciousness, or we're not going to be able to move higher. See, when we're not shifting our consciousness, what is actually happening is that we are holding on to what is known as the past. And often, because people are holding on to the past, they cannot see the opportunity for something new. And so this happens quite often with us, right? We're always trying to do something that we don't need to do. And sometimes we are putting ourselves in a position where we're unable to change. So it's essential that we learn what time is. Time is man made. Our ancestors all over the globe had their concept of time that was natural, meaning they were just concerned with seeing the sunrise, seeing the sun casted high over their heads, and then they were happy to see the sunset. We know through research that many of the pyramids usually was set up in the center, or their places of worship were centered in the middle of a town or a city, with the steeple or the obelisk. And when the sun would hit that, it would create and cast a shadow, and they were able to determine what time of day, what season of the year they were in. You could check that with when you look up the Mayans and the Incas step pyramids. They were able to tell time by where the sun was casted around the pyramid. Even with yourself, our ancestors could stand where the sun can be upon them, and different lengths of the shadow would determine the time of day. So the shorter length, or the shortest length, would be pretty close to high noon. And when they couldn't see a shadow, it's around that time. These things came into play a lot more than what we realized, but we have gotten away from it. And many of our scientists, or let's say the ones who were trying to uncover our ancestral histories, sometimes for selfish reasons and ideas in terms of conquering people, many times the teachings about true time were lost. We've seen numerous times where people had traveled from other countries into the Kemetic land of what is called Egypt and try to take those statues, as huge as they were, to break them down and transport them back and create museums around it, place security around it, so people couldn't see their own heritage, so to speak. Many times, and this is not making racial comments at all, many times we thought that the people, the Kemetic people, were of European based heritage and the hair is shown straight. No, there are actual mummified individuals and encasings that show thick plaited hair. I mean, really thick plaited hair. And you see that is worn as a style. Cornrows, right? Braided hair, right? But that's all way back then as well. So let me skip off of that and get back on this topic. What I want you to understand that here, time is not real. We've been pushed to think that time is real, but of course it's not. It is made up. Now, some of the reasons time was instituted was to keep trains across the countries from running into each other, to keep boats at sea from running into each other, to keep airplanes from crowding runways and running into each other in their air waves or planes that they would call it, air lanes in the sky, so that there's no accidents. All these things were done like that. Actual time is based on rising of the sun and the setting of the moon. We didn't have what we have is the equal calendar system of 12 months. What we had was 13 months. And the word month comes from the word moon. So if they had 13 moon cycles, 13 lunar cycles, they can see where everything is going. Time is not real. It is made up. It's an assimilation to correspond with everything else that is an illusion. It's assimilated. This is why people throw the words back and forth, matrix, matrix. Oh, we're living in the matrix. Well, you were born in the original matrix. And what is that? The womb of your mother. That's real. Within the womb of your mother was every type of nutrient and nourishment you needed to come out of the womb alive and well. And this is from women to women. That's why we're in this millennium of the number 2000. This millennium is the millennium where women come back into power, where the matriarchal societies come back into power. And if we men have any common sense, you'd follow that because it is the woman who represents the universe. She also represents humanity. So she personifies the universal mind. And of course, time, if you flip the letters around, you get the word emit, EMIT, sending, releasing something. So time releases things. Time releases you from being bound to earthly things too many times, or to be caught up in too much philosophical stuff and not be grounded or rooted. The only real time we have now is known as current time. And the word current is connected to currency, but current deals with energy, the direction that something is flowing in. Our money is a currency. Doesn't matter if it's that dollar bill, the penny, the nickel, the dime, the quarter, the half dollar, and the whole dollar, up to a single bill, a $5 bill, a $10 bill, a $20 bill, a 50, a 100, and a 500, and a $1,000 bill. All of these are replicas or symbols of currency or energy. The universal mind is the mind of the mother. If I read it directly from my notes, the only real time we have now is thus the current or present moment. Current is energy. Present, that's PRESENT, is a gift of now. The reason why we have so much stress in the world because we're thinking about something coming up later. So we say, okay, that guess that'd be 2 o'clock. That's a 4 o'clock. Oh, maybe that's 2 p.m. tomorrow. When in essence, it is a bigger realm known as now. So present is a gift of now, and moment, moment, that's very important. Moment is in the mind of mother's moment or essence. Let me reread that. Moment, which is moment, is in the mind of mother's moment or essence. The universal mind is mother of time, mother of true creation. And in that essence is what people call in the metaphysical world Akasha, Akasha, which is really Sanskrit word, base word, out of the Hinduism religion of India. Akasha is the substance of the universe. I refer to it as the divine essence or divine essential substance where infinite memories are stored. So everything stores energy, which stores images, which stores ideas and actions, and so called history, or now we should say her story. Her story. The Akasha holds everything you want to know about. But people say, oh, I'm going to read your Akasha. Well, there are people that do that. I got a book right here in front of me. There's a woman that has a whole academy that she's put together based on her experience of not only be able to read her Akashic records, but step into yours as well. The only thing about that is you need someone's permission to step in there because that's their Akasha, which is separate from your Akasha. But they are linked together because they belong to what? A universal grid, interlaced. So there's sometimes that's when you see people on the street, you remember them, not from only this lifetime, but another lifetime, thousands of years ago, but not on a linear plane, but on a circular, circular plane. That's why the globe, that physical object called the globe, has longitudes and latitudes. Latitudes is the ability to go east and west. Longitude is the ability to go north and south. And that globe is based on your toroidal field within your aura that's encased around yourself, where you have your own experiences of your own Akasha and can see remnants of the Akasha of another world within your world. And this is why people are doing this thing since 2006. You go back to 2006, that guy that formulated the company that's been out forever called Mind Valley. He was with a gentleman by the name of Bert Goldman, and they came up with the idea, the concept of jumping timelines, and they called it quantum jumping. See, quantum physics is just supposed to be theory, but in the field of occult science and divine magic, it's not a theory. Magicians were doing it all the time, jumping timelines all the time. They were consciously and constantly moving themselves in and out of the planes of assimilated man made time and jumping back in to the universe, experiencing universal time. That was essential. They knew if they could understand how to move across the universal infinite planes of time, then they could correct so called futures. Well, that's what intelligent agencies have been doing since the 1930s and 1940s, putting humanity underneath its feet and switching timelines and trying to change something back then to change something that has occurred right now. The only thing in doing that, it's gotten worse, I would say. The reason why I say that it's gotten worse is because they haven't figured out yet how a billion people on this little globe called the Earth can get along with each other. Why are we still experiencing racism? Why is that still happening? That's not supposed to happen. We should be beyond that by now. Racism should have ended long time ago. But guess what? In other realms of infinite existence called timelines or moments of life, there are no wars. There's no racism. There's no famine. There's no diseases. People live as long as they want, and they look more youthful the older they get. People are successful. People are helping other people around the world grow, not only in abundance and prosperity where money is involved, but growth and prosperity where good health is going on, growth and prosperity and greater abundance for themselves. It's all about living a better time. And we all can live that better time if we so choose. We just have to choose it. We have to get beyond the mentality of limitation, poverty, disheartenment, or being disheartened, cold natured, feeling that they got to be a gangster, feeling they got to pick up a knife, sword, and a gun and harm another individual for no reason whatsoever. People have to get back to living in harmony with themselves, with each other, and extend it into the universe, into nature. Now, how can we get there? Well, I can tell you, you can strive to collaborate on doing it and forming communities. But what has happened time and time again, people have formulated these communities away from the mainstream. And within those communities, people have experienced negative behavioral patterns. People get high, can't get over it. People have sexual addictions and are misrepresenting themselves and misrepresenting their communities and causing havoc within families, illnesses within families, fabricating more lies within families, trying to control whole groups of people. That's because people try to create these spiritual communities without clearing the ego. If you don't clear the ego, it's not going to work. If you don't heal the shadow self that you carry around, it's not going to work. Usually someone wants to be the leader of the pack, but the leader has not changed. And these things begin to fall apart. So what we have to understand, again, is that time is a mechanism, a tool that's used to slow down your current moment. Sometimes it creates a whole nother illusion that should not exist in your world. You have enough illusions in your mind that you were taught by peers, by parents, grandparents, teachers, strangers, military, public service jobs, you name it, political stances, when all that really matters is to be sovereign to yourself. Now, I don't mean to be sovereign where you're overriding a government. I'm meaning taking care of yourself, doing the things you need to do for yourself. And if you have a family, do it for your family. Create better harmony and balance within your family. Care for each other. Care for your family members. Teach your children to do the same. Go back in time in your deepest part of your memory when you were a child, you were an adult, you gave birth to children, you were a father, you were a neighbor, you were a sibling. Go back into those Akashic records and see what you need to do in order to make yourself have a better life right now. These are the things that we have to do. Why we're in a brand new millennium and we're 24 years in, and we need to study the teachings of the mothers. We need to study and remember the teachings of the mothers. This is why you have that circle of 13 grandmothers. Uh, They go from country to country teaching the old ways to women who want to learn those old ways. Men need to learn what they need to learn. But in the end, we need to learn how to come together and to embrace each other's differences and embrace what we share and how we learn from each other. So if you have a gift, you need to be on that gift and manufacturing that gift and making it work for yourself and sharing or teaching it to others. And people say, oh, we need to do it for free. No, you need to do it and get paid. You can't buy a car for free. And even if you win the car for free, you still got to pay the taxes. So the car is not free. You still got to put gas in the car, transmission fluid in the car, oil in the car, antifreeze in the car, air in the tires. All that costs. You got to clean the seats and clean the little shag rugs, as I call them, foot rugs. There's so much you have to do to care for a vehicle or even a motorcycle. You have to put money into it. So you got to put money into yourself. You got to invest energy into yourself. You have to make yourself available to be around to help others who are seeking a path. That's why I say, what time is it? It's your time. Now is your time to do the things you've always wanted to do. That was being service to humanity. And here's another thing I heard. It was interesting, but I understand the guy was doing it to actually sell business, to actually sell his business. He was saying he's a hypnotherapist. So he was saying hypnotherapy is actually guided meditation. No, it's not. Why? Because the person is under hypnotherapy concept, the energy, where they're being fed that energy. Well, look, there's a lot of people who take advantage of people like that too. So you can't have a fast route to what I really want to say, and I don't want to use that. There are no shortcuts to finding and discovering yourself. There are no shortcuts. You have to expel old habits, old teachings, old addictions. You got to get rid of all of that. But most of all, you got to put your ego in true alignment to your higher self and then delve into the silence to meet up with your higher self so that you become more of the true you. That's essential. If you're not willing to become more of your true self, you have to realize who you are. I want to look up a word here. The word that comes to mind is somnambulism. It's a word that hypnotherapists are aware of. that when you could fall into that state where they could plant seeds, get you to do things like we've seen people doing on the stage. Somebody bark like a dog. One person, they have them thinking they're Michael Jackson. Another person is Elvis. Another person is Mahalia Jackson. Another person is Sojourner Truth. All these, because why? The mind, the subconscious mind is like the universe. It is overflowing with remembrances, with experiences, infinite truths. So a magician can plant a seed into the mind of the person who has that somnambulous, if I can pronounce it. I have to put it in here. I should spell it. You all can look it up. As long as that person has this within themselves, the person who is known as a hypnotherapist or hypnotist can do whatever they want with that person. So I'm going to put it here. And this is a good word to know. This is how people have the experience of being hypnotized. Now, some people try to claim it's a disorder. I don't believe it is, but we all have it. Some of us have it, some of us don't. The ones that don't have it are the people who um, who cannot be hypnotized. There are people who cannot be hypnotized, and people are trying it all the time, but it doesn't work. Why? Because that person has a strong will of being alert, and they're not going to let somebody manipulate them. So they are self programmed not to be hypnotized. And this is important because every day, if you're a person that watches TV or listen to the radio, you're getting touched every moment of the day with seeds, mental seeds that can get you to buy, mental seeds that can get you to be disruptive. I don't know if you all remember when we were younger, the movie E.T. When E.T. fell to Earth and the little boy hit him in the house. And E.T. was attracted to M&Ms. Well, the company that controlled M&M that was helping to support or sponsor that movie was allowing subliminal messages to be sent to the audience, to moviegoers, to the point that they would get up and go to the snack bar, right? And get some Reese's Pieces. They do it on TV all the time. They show the person drinking beer or soda, and they partially show you the logo or the design of the can or the glass. And that's more than enough for your mind to put it together and say, I wish I had some beer to drink. Next thing you know, you're buying beer. I wish I had some soda to drink, Mountain Dew to drink, Kool-Aid to drink. You start doing it. Why? Because they are planting a seed into the base of your consciousness, into your subconscious side, where all memories are stored. So that means inside of your subconscious mind, you have images connected to soda, beer, wine, milk, soy milk, skim milk, vitamin D milk, candies, food, all kind of things. You've experienced half of them, but they know the thought is embedded in you, so it can be projected on a screen, and everything else can be going on. Comedy, thriller, you name it. But That subliminal message already got past your alert nature, your beta nature fell into the alpha, and then you consumed it. So thoughts are currencies. Emotions are currencies. The physical body is a currency. It carries energy. And the more that this can be pressed to the forefront and what you normally are seeing is pulled back just enough, you start doing the things that are placed before you in a very subtle way. So today's topic is, what time is it? The answer is, time is a currency called now. The energy is now. If you stay focused on now, you flip the words around and you will see that in this now moment, you have won something. You have owned something, and that is yourself, your brain. As we switch this brain around, shake it upside down, we start to pull out the marbles. We start to pull out the gems. We start to shift through the various layers of consciousness, and we fall into the great abyss. We fall into the sea of silence, where eventually we meet up with what is called our higher self. That's the side of ourselves that contains infinite reams of consciousness of a higher, elevated, ranked plateau. We're going to find out, I believe, in the next 10 to 15 years, which will put us 20 to 35 years, we're going to find out that we already knew this. We're going to find out that we already are our higher selves. We're already going to find out that we are the currency of our higher self and that we can turn this energy on or off. We're going to find out that we're the goddess of ourselves and the gods of ourselves, and nobody can mess with that. Nobody. Or I should say properly, no one. Why? Because you'll be in control of yourself. When you are in true control of yourself, no one can manipulate the way you think. Yes, that's the question. Is your mind your own? And guess what? I find myself in the past 5 years watching less TV unless it's something I really want to watch. But it has to be something that's metaphysical and spiritually uplifting. Then I'll watch it. And if I want to turn around and watch a game, I don't watch that game but so long. Because there's little subliminal messages being laid out there during commercials. And sometimes even in halftime, and sometimes while the game is going on, you're being hit with subliminal messages. So we have to regain control over our own way of thinking and doing so that we can get into the akasha, the essence of your true mind, so that you can replicate, you can duplicate down to the last letter, the last inch, the last seed of your true nature, which is infinite. So that's my concept. That's my talk for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Come back and replay it. Share the link with other people that you know that are seeking similar truths like you are and like myself. I'm going to take a break now. I'm going to go do some work. I'm going to watch me some Gaia and have some fun. And I'm going to make sure that I am having a pleasant day. That's another thing. When you get up in the morning, state what kind of day you want to have so that you call that into effect. Is it raining over there? You put up droplets of rain. Is it raining over there? Golden timeline. Thanks for joining me. Tell your friends all about this. I want to also thank Peaceful One. Thank you for being here. Oh, knowledge. I love that. No water is knowledge. Thank you. Well, here we are, striving to be true to ourselves. Have a great weekend. Do something that makes you and your family happy, healthy, congenial, and expansive, and be together as one. My grace is your grace. Until next time, remember that divine grace is a blessing as we're alive and well in the age of remembrance. See you real soon. Hopefully, I'll be here next week at 1 or 1:15 p.m. with another topic for clear blue radiance. Take care now.